Hey guys, Mike from Boyer Bows here. Okay, I'm going to do a quick video on how I go about sanding down and tillering a rounded belly bow. Now, this is the lumber store bow. Mostly when I get it to once it's floor tillered, what I start doing is I mostly use a sanding block, and this is 36 grit ceramic sandpaper. It usually goes on a belt sander. It lasts a lot longer, keeps its grit a lot longer than regular sandpaper or even belt sandpaper. This ceramic stuff is terrific. But you're going to take up a lot of wood with it. Alright, so what I basically do is, if I'm doing the big, just a general reduction, I'll start at the sides and I'll just work it around. I'll just, constantly, I kind of avoid the top. Very, heavier strokes on the side, kind of light over the top, and heavier strokes around, just kind of rounding it out, right? But if I see an area, here you can take a look at the bend right now. It's bending pretty well. Looks like it could use some. Now look at this bend. It's got a nice bend from the handle, or what would be the handle, coming up through here, but then about here, right where the I don't know if you can see that, where the paddock ends, this is still pretty straight right here, to me. I don't know if you guys see that, but it seems like it bends really well and then straightens out right through here. That's good news for me because the paddock's already gone from here, so I can be a little more liberal in my sanding. But what I'll do now is I'll sand this area flat right on top. Just sand it until I see that it's flattening out, like that. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. I got this little bit of flat area, right? So then what I'll do now is round it off. I'll start here and just work this around, and when this becomes the high point again on the rounded part, I have reduced it. So I'll be avoiding the straight shot now, working the sides, working around, trying to renew that rounded belly. See, just that little flatness, it takes a while to get it out. Alright, it's still a little bit flat in there. Alright, let's see how we did. See how it's starting to bend in there now? See, now it looks like it's bending to about there, and then it straightens out again. At least that's how it excuse me, looks to me with my eyes being the way they are right now. It's kind of dark out here. But hopefully you get the idea. And the more specific you need to be. So let's say I do this again and I flex, and there's just this little spot right here that is stiffer. There's, nice and bendy over here, nice and bendy over here, but stiff here. I'll just be very specific. Let's pretend it's here so I don't screw up what's left of the paddock. So let's say it's here, so I'll just be really specific. Flatten it out. You can use your rasp for that. Just use the flat edge. Don't use this edge. It's going to be too much wood removal if you use the rounded edge. Just use the flat edge. Well, I'm going too far. So let's just pretend it's right here, because this area needs to come down some more. So flatten it out. Take your whatever tool you want to use. If you want to use a rasp the whole time, you can. I'm using sandpaper because I'm being very, very, very meticulous about this. I'm trying to take my time. I'm trying to take very small pieces of wood up, less than a scraper would even take, and then work my way into the into more bend and more tiller But it takes, you know, if I start scraping, I'm going to be removing even more wood than I want. I really want to take my time. I'm trying to make this one work out. This is still an experimental bow. And my concern is because I'm not used to these woods, I've got an even greater chance of it failing just because I'm just not familiar with how much they can take. You know, there's always a good chance it's going to fail anyway, but even more so now that I'm kind of in uncharted waters, at least for me. So we'll see how we do. And there you go. So that's this video. Just, you know, flatten. And then once you've achieved a certain amount of flatness, it doesn't take much. I mean, I think maybe I got a 1/4 inch total width of flatness there. And then I round it off. And it's just, you sand the sides, you sand up to that flat edge, and then you don't do the flat edge, you do the other side, and you just work it until it's rounded again, and then you just keep doing that until you get the tiller or bend you want. Okay, there you go. That's how I'm doing it. If you know a better way, leave it in the comments. If you thought that was a good way, leave it in the comments, and I will talk to you guys soon. Mike from Boyer Bows. Have a great night, guys.